So lads, another day, another video on this channel. Are we going to make it many? I have absolutely zero idea. I'm doing this because I'm bored, and well, if you guys don't know, again, I make 2K videos. 2K's pretty much done for the year. 2K's pretty much done for the year in terms of my team, so we're not really getting too much more. So there's only really one thing that I really want to talk about in today's video, but we might as well go over some of the NBA news in general. But before any of that, like, I just don't get some of the things in the draft. Honestly, I just don't get some of the things in the draft. Like, this is one thing I'm gonna say right now. It's fine not to be an expert on anything. Like, there's a reason why I didn't speak too much on the draft, because I didn't know too much about most of the prospects. Like, I'm watching Garuba play a couple of years. Haven't watched him enough to know if it was the greatest pick in the world for the Houston Rockets, as he has been mediocre at best in the Olympics. I watched a little bit of Josh Giddey because people were telling me to watch Josh Giddey. But, like, is it just something in the media where it's okay to say you don't know something about a specific player? Like, Kendrick Perkins, the only player he seemed to know anything about throughout the first 13 picks was Moses Moody. And then in pick number 14 proceeded to mispronounce Moses Moody's name 17 different times in a row. Like, he seemed to be the only player he knew anything about prior to that, because he kept just saying, we need Moses Moody. We need Moses Moody. And as soon as Moses Moody comes up, he's then started calling them Modi Mooses. Mooses Modi. Modi Mosey. Mosey Mosey Modi Mooses. Like, it was weird. It was just a weird one. And then, did any of you guys see the Josh Giddey thing? I need to get this. I'm gonna try to pull this up on screen. Did any of you guys see here what they said about Josh Giddey? Did any of you guys see what they said about him? First of all, they had no idea. They had no idea who he was. Like, I'm telling you, they had no idea who he was. Anyone at the draft had no idea who he was. Like, the most they got out of anyone was Kendrick Perkins. This was his analysis. Josh Giddey's a great pick for Oklahoma because Sam Presti used to work for the Spurs, and the Spurs had a lot of success with foreign players, so this is a great pick. Nothing about his game. Nothing about the fact that he is a playmaking 6'8" point guard. He's a 6'8" playmaker. He's a primary ball handler. He can help out Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He can be fairly solid at the 1 or the 2. He can probably be a primary, secondary ball handler. His weakness really is his shooting. But they said he basically can't play basketball. Look at these for his weaknesses. His weaknesses: ball handling, shot creation, outside shooting, defense, athleticism. They basically just said he can't play basketball. I've never seen anything like it. They basically, first of all, like, with his weaknesses, is ball handling his weakness? Not really. He's a very, very solid playmaker. The best comparison I haven't watched him enough, and I'm gonna fully admit that. I've not watched him enough to say what he's great at and what he's not great at. But, like, he is a solid playmaker. That's one thing that's a given. What I was told from a lot of people that watch a ton of Australian basketball, they said he's like a higher IQ but less athletic LaMelo Ball. They were saying he's not going to be as flash as LaMelo Ball, and they don't think he's going to be he has as high a ceiling as LaMelo Ball. But in Australia, that's probably the closest comparison they said they were able to make for Josh Giddey. And I'm going to believe them over somebody that literally said he's a good pick because he's foreign. Like, can we just take that into account? Like, Kendrick Perkins is supposedly a draft expert. He knows nothing, but it's fine. Admit you know nothing. He compared Evan Mobley to Bill Russell. Like, Bill Russell. Like, why are we comparing people to guys from the 60s? But, like, it's fine. In my opinion, it's fine. Like, they're perfect. It's perfectly fine to admit you don't know something about a prospect. Not everyone can be an expert on not only all 60 prospects, the 60 others that have a chance of being drafted. Not everyone can be an expert in all 120 players. And you know what? It's almost impossible to have scouted all 120 of those players enough to have a good opinion on them. So let's normalize saying, I think this could be a great pick from what I've heard. He seems to be great. Because we don't need another example. We don't need more of this. We don't need another Stephen A. Smith example of, I don't care about this guy from Europe despite never watching Luka Doncic play. We don't need another Rashad Phillips trying to invent 17 different positions so that he's technically right no matter what he says. We don't need another person saying, without watching Luka play, saying he's a second-round pick because of what they've heard. Being like, oh, Luka doesn't deal well with pressure on the ball. Did they watch him? Did they watch him play? If you watched him play one game, you saw Luka would walk down the floor under any defense. And that was apparently a weakness coming into the draft. Do better. So, now we have got this right here. And also, sorry, fans, stop booing every foreign player. Stop it. Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Usman Garuba got picked. The Rockets fans were cheering. Everyone else started booing. Franz Wagner got picked. And you can't even say it's what people you don't know. His brother plays for the Magic. The Magic picked him. His brother plays for the Magic. He played for Michigan. He played in college. And he still got booed. I don't get it. I just don't get it. But anyway, it's right here. He picked up Dragic's player option and focused on getting Kyle Lowry. Do I think getting Kyle Lowry is going to win them a ring? No. Do I think picking up Dragic's player option was a good idea? I mean, assumed it's only there. I think if they don't get Kyle Lowry, you might as well have Dragic because, again, you're going for a ring. As well as that, like, it's probably they got Dragic mainly for a sign and trade, I reckon, with the Toronto Raptors in hopes of getting Kyle Lowry. But at the end of the day, do I think Kyle Lowry, I think he's looking for $100 million. Do I think he's worth that at this stage in his career? Not really, but if you're in Miami, again, I'm a Miami fan. Do I think we win the ring? Like, again, I'm not. I'm a Miami Heat fan. I care way more about other sports than I'm a fan of. For me, it's hard to be a fan of a franchise. It's hard to be a fan of a franchise. As someone who's a Leeds fan, being there for the highs, being there for the lows. And yeah, the lows aren't just suddenly the number one draft pick. I can't ever imagine cheering on a team hoping they lose. I can't imagine waiting for lottery balls. So that's why my interest in actually supporting an NBA team isn't really there. But yeah, if I'm supporting an NBA team, it is Miami. But yeah, I don't think Miami wins either way. But then, the biggest story. Slovenia look freaking unbeatable. The quarterfinals, Slovenia versus Germany. That should be a game. But man, I'm taking Slovenia. I'm sorry to all the Slovenian fans when I said you guys probably aren't getting a medal. I think I'm wrong. Spain versus USA. That is going to be close. Everyone's saying USA I heard some people being like, USA figured it out against the Czech Republic. No. Just because you struggled in the first half against the Czech Republic does not mean you figured it out because you beat the Czech Republic by 30. Czech Republic are not very good. And the Czech Republic really are not very good. And Team USA, in the third quarter, shot the ball as well as I've ever seen anyone shoot the ball. Like, fair play. USA beat Czech Republic. They beat Iran. What's going to happen when the game slows down? What's going to happen when they play against a team like Spain? I'm predicting... I think smart, like, if I was to put money... I'm not going to put money on it. I think that's too close to call. Spain versus USA. Or Italy, France, I'm taking France. Australia, Argentina, I'm taking Australia in a 20-point win. Argentina, I don't think have looked great in this Olympics. It was okay for a while against Spain, but that really seems to be it. But then Spain versus Slovenia. So many people being like, oh, Lucas played nobody. I mean, he won Eurobasket. But, like, they went and beat Spain. And not only did they beat Spain with Luka basically being triple teamed and hitting shooters. And Slovenia could not hit a shot for most of the game. Like, Slovenia couldn't hit anything. Like, you're looking at Slovenia's 3-point percentage. They shot 31% from three. Most of them wide open. But it is the fact that Luka Doncic... I don't care what anyone says. I do not care what anyone says. Most fans, especially fans from across the Atlantic, are going to look at the box score and say Luka Doncic only shot the ball 7 times. He only scored 12 points. How can you guys say he's the best player in the world? That's the thing. He only had 9 assists, but he was being double teamed, triple teamed, and the other guys in the fourth at least stepped up. They stepped up. You got Zoran Dragic. You've got Vlado Kansar, who stepped up big time with 22 points. Zoran has stepped up in some games. Toby stepped up in some games. This team is a team. And that's one of the most important things you can say about an international team. They are a team, which is rare at an international. USA are a collection of individuals. Slovenia are a team. And the fact is that Luka Doncic can score 12 points and does not seem to care. He can score 12 points in a game and it is still celebrating like what the achievement actually is, that they freaking beat Spain. They beat the World Cup champions. They beat the World Cup champions. And that's again another positive. A lot of people I've seen saying, "Oh, Luka only scored 12 points. He doesn't deserve any credit." Did you watch the game? Did you watch what Luka Doncic did? And not only that, you can't just say Luka Doncic gives credit. This is a clap back at every bit of American media that called Slovenia Luka and the Miracles. Man, I would have never gone that far. Man, these guys are better than I thought. These guys are playing better than I thought. And the way they play offense, I still think they're struggling defensively. I think they might struggle to beat America. I will say that. Like, I think America might lose before Slovenia. I don't think Slovenia beat America. But Team USA, it's such a weird one. I watched them again against Czech Republic. They don't have a defensive philosophy. I've never seen a team get a center switched onto a point guard as easily as Czech Republic did against USA. Literally, they ran a high pick and roll with Sadaransky in the center on Dame or on Drew Holiday. It was on Dame. Bang. Or whoever was on the ball, whoever's guarding Dame. Bang. Come off the screen. Switched into the big man. Big man versus Dame. Like, what's going to happen when they come up against the Gasol brothers? What's going to happen when they come up against Rubio, who's the best point guard, who's outside of Luka Doncic in this entire competition? And yeah, an international play, I'm taking him over Dame. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? This is going to be game in a tournament, by the way, lads. This right here, 5:40 a.m. Irish time, or I think 5:40 a.m. Irish time, for 20 to 1 Eastern time, or yeah, 20 to 1 Eastern time in the morning. This is going to be, you can see it here. In the Olympic Games, last Olympics, USA by 6. Olympics before, USA by 7. The Olympics before that, this was an unbelievably close game, by the way. This was an unbelievably close game. This game here was a nothing game, so it didn't really count for either team. It made no difference for either of these teams. And then, again, tight in the 2004 Olympics. Like, and all I'm going to say is that this USA team's not as good as any of these USA teams. So this is going to be potentially game of the tournament. This could be game of the tournament, and this is going to be the must-watch game for anybody. Because I think if Spain win this game, Slovenia win the whole thing. I think if USA win this game, I'm pretty sure if USA win, if I'm not mistaken, they face Australia in the semis, I think. I think if they win, they face Australia, which will be a tough game again for USA. And it's Slovenia face off against France, which is going to be a super tough game for them as well. So it's going to be an interesting one because this is legit. Australia, France, USA, Spain, Slovenia. Any of those 5 teams could win. Favorites, probably still USA. They have the most talent by a mile. But man, this Slovenia team is looking really, really good. Being led by, not being led by, carried by, same difference. Maybe they're being carried by Luka Doncic. But I mean, a 10-point fourth quarter win for Slovenia off the back of the rest of the guys hitting their shots. Like, they are shooters, by the way. They are shooters. Slovenia are shooters. They are not going to shoot 31% from 3 in most games. So the teams have gone out with every tactic. Teams have gone out playing single coverage on Luka, like Argentina, drops 48 points. Teams have gone out and trying to occasionally get the ball out of his hands, like Japan, 25 points in 25 minutes. Then Spain, double team, triple team, do everything they can to get the ball out of his hands. Yeah, he scores 12 points, but they still lose. It'll be interesting to see which team finds a way to stop this guy. And man, it's getting harder and harder to not call Luka Doncic the best basketball player in the world. And then he was saying, oh, he didn't win a ring. I mean, taking the Clippers to 7 games, taking a healthy Clippers to 7 games with the guys that he had in his team is more impressive than Phoenix Suns beating the Clippers without Kawhi. Just food for thought right there. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.